Round 2 of the State New Zealand Ocean Swim Series was the Bay of Islands Classic, a total distance of 3.2 kilometres, from New Zealand's first capital, Russell, to the beautiful township of Paihia. It was very much a trans-Tasman battle, but on this day it would be the Australian Jared Port who would take the victory. He'd finished third in round 1 and is now a serious contender for the overall series. Welcome into round 3 of the State New Zealand Ocean Swim Series. It is the Capital Classic. Yes, beautiful Wellington hosts this iconic event. It is one of the most beautiful cities in the country. It has a magnificent harbour, a wonderful downtown, and of course plenty for the tourists to do. Well, conditions today are just a little bit gusty. And again, what effect will this have on the competitors?
So do you enjoy being out in the water and swimming these events?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, it's great.
Why?
It's just a bit of a challenge. You know, it's just a bit more difficult than swimming in a pool every day.
Why do you keep coming back to this series?
Oh, it's just a lot of fun, and it's a good opportunity to push myself and really just sort of push my boundaries, and yeah, it's all a lot of fun.
Do you enjoy ocean swimming? Do you enjoy this event?
Yeah, I quite like it. It's a bit choppier than I've had previously today, but we'll get through it.
Why are you swimming today?
Oh, I thought it'd be great fun to come down and swim in the capital, really. I haven't done it before. I was hoping for better weather, but that's all right. It'll still be fun, I'm sure.
Yeah, great to see a sense of humour. With the latest in the conditions, the forward forecast with Glenn Lama.
Well, the main feature in Wellington is the wind. It's going to be very windy for today's race, the State Capital Classic. Yes, the Met Service is forecasting a very strong northerly, winds of at least 30 knots, gaining in strength through the morning, and winds gusting over 40 knots. So for safety reasons, we're going to see the 3.3k race cut to 2 kilometres. The course, we're going to see the swimmers swim out to, or follow the original course out to a point opposite Oriental Bay. Then they'll make a hard right towards the fountain, swim around the fountain, and then come into the finish line. So the 3.3k race is going to be cut to 2 kilometres. But we have some very good swimmers lining up for today's race, so we're still going to get a very good event here in Wellington.
Yes, so the course being reduced from 3.3 kilometres down to 2. Instructions now being given to the elite competitors. George O'Brien out of Australia, very much one of the favourite amongst the men's, and the New Zealand Women's Open Water 5k champion, Emma Robinson.
Righto, George. Well, welcome back to New Zealand. I mean, first time here, but for you for a while, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think I did it about 2 years ago, 2011, and I won it. So I got fond memories of this place. So yeah, I'm happy to be back.
Well, describe your form. How are you feeling going into the race?
Yeah, I've only just recently come back from a lot of pool swimming, so it'll be interesting to see how I go. I really don't know how I'm going to go here. So.
How are you liking the chop? It's windy today. The course has been shortened. What's your reaction to that?
I'm sort of happy about it being shorter, but the chop, yeah, we'll see. I don't know.
And of course, the competition here. You're here, and you're going to swim another 2 races in the series, and you obviously want to try and win the series in April. How challenging is that going to be for you, George?
It's going to be really difficult. There are a lot of good Australians coming over, and obviously there are a heap of good New Zealanders here, and it's going to be tough. And that's what's so much fun about this series, is how tough the competition is. Yeah.
Good luck, George.
Thanks, mate.
All right, Dylan. Well, how you feeling about your form heading into this race today here in Wellington?
Yeah, pretty happy. Yeah, it should be interesting, and to tell you the truth, I just can't wait to get out there.
Now, the course has been shortened and it's choppy. Does it play into your hands, do you think?
Yeah, I've kind of always liked the chop, and I think the shorter race definitely will play into my hands a bit more, but really, it's just anyone's race out there today.
First of all, congratulations getting the 1500 metre pool record. You must be really stoked with that.
Oh yeah, I'm super happy, yeah. Stoked to get the record off Kane's, considering Daniel Loader was the last person to have it before Kane. So
well done. And how is that going to help you today, though? Because, of course, it's very different out in the open water, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very different, but I think since the course has been shortened, it probably goes in my favour a little bit, I guess. Being only 2Ks instead of 3 and a bit.
You're feeling comfortable about the conditions today, even though, some might not be out there?
Yeah, the shortened course should be all right, but yeah, as long as we're not out. I know it gets a lot choppier towards the lighthouse, so we're not out that far, so it should be all right.
Describe your form at the moment and your success in winning the 5K at the Nationals recently.
Form's all right. I haven't really had a day off swimming since New Year, so yeah, I'm tired, but I'll be all right.
And your main competition today, Grace, you guys have got a bit of a rivalry going at the moment, haven't you?
Yeah, we're good friends, so we went to a few New Zealand teams together, so yeah, we'd get along, so it's just swim next to each other, have a little, the last 100 metres, go for it.
Well, friendships put to one side, the rivalry will begin very shortly as we see our elite athletes making their way down the stairs at Frank Kitts Lagoon here, set for a start in race 3 of the State New Zealand Ocean Swim Series. It is a deep water start, great crowd in attendance, looking forward to this one. And joining me in commentary today, former national swimming representative Scott Rice. And Scott, always much anticipation in terms of the race at the top level, but also the races within the races.
Oh, absolutely. You know, one of the best fields here in Wellington we've had in a number of years, and they're underway now. The first wave, which includes the elite athletes and the top of the recreational age group field and the pink swim caps. And you already see the grey cap of Nathan Cap, New Zealand swim team member, the 1500 metre New Zealand record holder. He took it off Kane Radford just a few weeks ago. So this is going to be one battle royale amongst the men and the women. You know, any one of 4 swimmers in the men's field could take this event, and any one of 3 swimmers or 4 swimmers in the female field as well. So it's going to be exciting, Mark.
Yeah, so Nathan Cap there in that sort of grey-silver cap, and the green cap, it's Dylan Dunlop Barrett. Now, Dylan was unlucky not to win round 1 of the State New Zealand Ocean Swim Series. The harbour crossing that day just outgunned in the finish by a very impressive Kane Radford. Second wave now underway. Again, the athletes seeding themselves according to ability. And the man now in the pink cap taking the lead, and he's got a good little gap of around about 5 to 6 metres. It is the Australian out of Brisbane, George O'Brien.
Oh, great to see O'Brien back, a 2011 winner of this event.
And there in the green cap, it's our leader in the women's race. This is Emma Robinson, the 2014 5K New Zealand open water champion. So she's hanging tough with some of our top men as they come past the first state orange marker. And Scott, rough conditions today, so I'd imagine they're going to have to adjust their stroke. I mean, they're so used to the calm conditions, the controlled environment of the swimming pool. What do they need to do to combat these conditions?
Yeah, well, these conditions, they're a northerly wind, a strong wind, the chop coming in from the left of these swimmers, so if they can breathe to the right, as George O'Brien is doing right now, that's what they need to do. But just the first few hundred metres of the swim, they'll get used to where the waves are coming from, a slightly higher arm turnover in the recovery, and just looking up at the crest of the waves.
Well, Dylan Dunlop Barrett here in the green cap doing a nice job just sitting on the Australian O'Brien, and he is lifting his head pretty much every 1 to 2 strokes just because of the nature of these conditions, and they want to be trying to lift their head at the top of the wave, certainly not when the wave tends to drop off and you find yourself in that lull. And in third place here for the first time, it is Nathan Cap.
Well, Nathan Cap had that blasting start from the beginning. He's just slipped into third place now. So, as predicted, the top 3 seeds are in the top 3 placings at the moment. So, a great start by these swimmers who are wanting to hang on each other's feet and just start to conserve a bit of energy, just hanging in behind O'Brien.
So a great shot there looking back at the beautiful Wellington downtown CBD. This really is one of the iconic events. And now in the orange cap with the sleeveless wetsuit, this is Philip Ryan.
So Philip Ryan's second mark in the New Zealand Open Water Champs a couple of weeks ago. So he's a very experienced open water swimmer, loves the chop. I always talked to him before, he loves the chop.
Yeah, again, it is going to be a difficult one. I guess the question too for the likes of George O'Brien, who still wants to take the lead here in these conditions. Do you want to be leading? Do you want to be the guy who's having to be the GPS for everybody else? Or is it not in your best interest perhaps just to sit back and wait?
Well, I think, you know, he's not that kind of swimmer. He wants to take it out from the beginning. He backs himself. He's done the training. You know, they do such big mileage over there in Australia. You know, and he's had that great placing in the Waikiki rough water swim. He knows he loves swimming in this chop.
Well, Nathan Cap now out to the right in the silver cap. Looks like he is just trying to strategically make a little bit of a move. He's moved off the feet here of Dylan Dunlop Barrett. I wonder what he senses or feels. Perhaps he wants to just maybe come up alongside these two and say, hey, don't forget about me. Just put a little bit of doubt into their head as we now go back down to...
This is Liam Albury, Mark, in the black cap, alongside the sleeveless suit of Philip Ryan. But back to the front of the field. A little bit of attack here by Dylan Dunlop Barrett. He's got a surf background, a world surf lifesaving champion in 2012, and now coming right alongside O'Brien.
Well, O'Brien, interesting there, rolled onto his back, did a couple of backstroke strokes just to try and get an idea on where everyone's at. Remember, they've got no rear view mirror here to look in. And while they've been looking at each other, it is Nathan Capp who has gone out to the left-hand side of these competitors. He's taken his chance. So what are we going to see here? Are we going to see the other two look to try and tack across a little bit like an America's Cup race?
And back to Emma Robinson here, still holding a good lead over the women's field at the moment, hanging tough with some of the elite men. And she swims at the Capital Swim Club here in Wellington, coached by Craig Albury, and doing a grand job at the moment.
Yeah, got a very good experienced swimmer there, and young Ben Ruback, who was 4th at the 2013 New Zealand Open Water Championships. So the leading girls, if they can get alongside some of the top guys, use the hip, use the feet, they can, again, be very efficient as we go back to the front of the race. And we have a lead change. It is Nathan Capp over O'Brien, the Australian. So the two Kiwis looking to try and squeeze the Aussie.
Well, Nathan Capp, a specialist in the 400-metre individual medley. He went to the World Champs last year and recently taken, as we said before, the 1500-metre New Zealand record. So he has that speed over the shorter distance.
A great race developing halfway through race 3 of the State New Zealand Ocean Swim Series, the Capital Classic. It truly is an absolutely magnificent city. Yes, we are in Wellington for race 3 of the State Capital Classic. It's halfway through round 3 of the State New Zealand Ocean Swim Series, and I can tell you that up front, Nathan Capp, Dylan Dunlop-Barrett, George O'Brien are battling it out for line honours. There is nothing in it amongst these three.
No, exciting stuff. You know, they all know they've got the endurance. They're all very, very talented swimmers. And this is Capp just sitting on O'Brien's hip. He knows exactly what he needs to do, conserving that energy for the final push into the finish. And Dylan Dunlop-Barrett just trying to hold on to the feet at the moment.
While those three are trying to fight it out for line honours, Emma Robinson is in control of this women's race. She's surrounded by a good group of elite men and some of the top age group swimmers. Martin van Barneveld in the blue cap, one of New Zealand's elite triathletes in that group, doing some work for her. So Scott, Emma Robinson.
Yeah, great performances 2 weeks ago in Taupo at the New Zealand Open Water Champs. She was unlucky to come out of the podium at the State Harbour Crossing in November, but really starting to gain in confidence at these State Ocean Swim events.
Well, back to the front of the men's race, 450 metres left to swim. We've got George O'Brien in the pink cap, Nathan Capp in the silver cap just out to his right-hand side, Dylan Dunlop-Barrett poised on the feet of both of them. You'll start to see the stroke rate begin to increase, the kicks start to come into play, because at this point, Scott, it's not just physical, it now becomes mental, it now becomes strategic.
Absolutely, Dylan Dunlop-Barrett, he found himself in this position at the State Harbour Crossing. He's either just knowing where he's at, he's conserving the energy ready for that final push, but he doesn't want to find himself in the same position he was a couple of months ago. So Dylan Dunlop-Barrett, this is Nathan Capp and George O'Brien from Australia have rounded the fountain now, and they've got 450 metres left to swim, Mark.
Well, Nathan Capp did the right thing. He made sure he stayed out to the right. He had the inside running around that final orange marker. Dylan Dunlop-Barrett too far out to the left. He had to go a little bit wider. Now the urgency comes into play. O'Brien says, I'll go now. Capp says, I'll go too. Wonderful stuff.
Well, this is where we find out who's done the work. A real mental game in the final 400 metres of this State Capital Classic.
Well, a great crowd waiting to welcome these athletes home across the finish line. They won't know what's going out. They'll just see the colours of the cap. Metres separating. O'Brien, though, has that decisive little break. The 22-year-old recently won the Waikiki Rough Water Swim. Is he in control? Can he take this victory?
Well, he's also had a shoulder reconstruction, just 100 metres left to swim. He seems to have got right over that surgery. He's taking control of this race.
Well, Scott, you know it can be won and lost still just going from this horizontal position to the vertical, because all of these swimmers have to get to their feet. They'll take a couple of dolphin dives. There is that little tough run up to the beach, but it is the Australian O'Brien. He looks like he will take this. The Australian will come to Wellington. He will steal from the locals. And by the looks of it, take out round 3 of the State New Zealand Ocean Swim Series, the Capital Classic. A wonderful race, a great swim, strategically brilliant.
So a win for O'Brien. He took it in 2:11, he's taken it in 2:14, and Nathan Capp just sneaking it across the line in front of Dylan Dunlop-Barrett.
Congratulations, George. Well, just how exhausted are they? And that's another very good swim from Philip Ryan.
2 weeks ago.
Congratulations on the win, mate. I mean, you must be happy to come here all the way from Australia and win the race, yeah?
Yeah, mate, I love coming to Wellington, and for an Aussie there's nothing better than beating a Kiwi, so beat a few of them today, and there were some pretty good ones out there too.
What were the conditions like?
Really choppy, really windy. It wasn't too cold, but yeah, just choppy, and it was really difficult to find a rhythm. So yeah, that was probably the biggest factor in the whole race.
Let's talk through the race. You started out on the right-hand side of the course, and that paid off quite quickly. You got off to a very fast start, didn't you?
Yeah, it was difficult to know what side to sort of start on, but I think I picked the right one because I was out in front fairly early.
And then from there it became pretty much a 3-horse race, didn't it? And then at the end, you just kicked clear. What was the reason for you kicking clear?
I'm not really sure. I've been doing a fair bit of sort of distance work, so maybe that's it. But they were all good swimmers, the last three of us, and the very fast pool swimmers. And I was really happy to get the win over some really good swimmers.
And it sets you up for a good crack at the series, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Every point counts in this series because there's so many good swimmers in it. But really happy to come away with the win there.
Yeah, well said. Well, Scotty, I'll turn this over to you. She's a class act.
Emma Robinson, the locals will be very, very happy. She's taken it out amongst tough competition. She'll be wrapped with that, gaining the valuable 100 points at the State Capital Classic 214, and also beaten a number of talented men as well. Congratulations, Emma Robinson, a good win there.
Emma, well done first of all. You must be delighted to get your first win of the series.
Yeah, no, it was really good. It's nice to be in my hometown. Yeah.
Describe the swim. How tough was that that first stretch?
The first stretch was definitely the hardest, just swimming into chop, getting pushed onto people, not always being able to see the buoys as well. When you come up, you get your face in a wave or something. But yeah, no, it wasn't too bad. Once you turn that yellow buoy, it's nice. You get the wash behind you and you can get little runners, which is like a nice little...
Quite good fun, that sort of stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the enjoyable stuff, yeah.
Nice to know our elites still having a bit of fun out there. Confirming our men's results, George O'Brien out of Australia, a narrow victory over Nathan Cap. Dylan Dunlop-Barrett rounds out our top three.
And Wellington all the way in the ladies' field. Emma Robinson winning convincingly in 22.38, followed by her counterparts Josie Kosniak and Courtney Carson.
So after 3 races in the State New Zealand Ocean Swim Series, let's have a look at the Lumino leaderboard. The women's standings, it is Emma Robinson who leads the series, but Paige Schendelaar-Kemp is certainly challenging.
And in the men's field, Philip Ryan has now completed 3 events. He's well in front. The Australian Jared Port and the surf specialist Dylan Dunlop-Barrett in third.
And so while we've talked about the elites, many others took part in the shortened 2K course, going up against the conditions, including Stephen Curry, a New Zealand water polo team member who took up a different challenge.
Well, if it wasn't hard enough, Mark, just swimming the distance, put a ball in front of him all the way and not wearing a wetsuit, a great achievement by New Zealand water polo player Stephen Curry.
Where did the idea come to swim the major race today with a water polo ball?
The idea just came with having lunch with a few friends, and we were just talking about it. We thought great way to get water polo involved in ocean swimming and the water polo scene as a sport in New Zealand, try and raise the awareness for kids and whatnot, yeah.
Cool. And what was it like out there today?
Oh, it was pretty choppy. It's gale force winds here in Wellington like usual. It made it pretty hard heading out, but then as we turned around the last buoy to head back, it was a bit of a helping hand there. So yeah, mixed up and down.
Did you lose control of the ball? Worry you might lose the ball in the swell or anything like that?
There was a few times where it got pretty choppy and the ball did get pretty high, and I was a bit whoa. But I managed to pull it back down and keep going. I had 2 friends out there swimming with me, and so on the way out when it was a bit choppier, I kind of shed the ball around a bit, but make it a bit easier.
Oh, quintessential New Zealand. You've got to love that man, don't you? That she'll be right attitude. Plenty of happy faces. Plenty of people who are absolutely stoked having completed this 2-kilometre course in these very testing, tricky conditions. And including in the field today, 2 really accomplished sisters, Elena and Zanaya Bettany, members of the Lyell Bay Surf Club.
Yeah, Mark, a number of off-duty lifeguards taking part today in preparation for their national champs.
When we were about 6 years old, we got caught on a rip, and at that time we were living down in Lyell Bay, and so Mum was, that's it, you might as well use the surf club while it's there, and so we joined up, and then next thing you know, we're all over it. It was great.
Same for you?
Yeah, we were just both caught on the rip. Mum thought it would be a good idea so we wouldn't get stuck there. We knew how to get out of it and everything, and we joined it when we were about like 5 or 6, and we've been there ever since, and we just love it. Yeah.
Your mum's a very smart lady.
Yeah. And then surf led to swimming and competitive swimming and everything, and now
Who beat who?
Well, no, I did fall behind. The start line is actually pretty close to a surf race. There's all elbows and feet and faces and goggles knocked off and everything, but it's really good. It's gonna get you into being around lots of bodies and everything, and so it was good. It's good to like get into the surf zone and using your training to like pick yourself out of it, because it was pretty gnarly.
Yeah, and great to have Surf Life Saving New Zealand involved in this event. And of course, it is the official charity of the State New Zealand Ocean Swim Series. If you do want to enter one of these events for free, you just need to raise money. Check out the website oceanswim.co.nz. And next up, it was the 1,000 metre race featuring blind swimmer David Piper and a swimming partner Ken Bailey.
Just tell us what is appealing to you about this event and swimming in the ocean.
Oh, look, I just love water. You know, I've loved water ever since I was a kid. You know, my dad threw me and my brothers in the sort of deep end when we were toddlers, so we learned how to swim at a very young age. When I lost my useful sight about 7 years ago, sort of the prospect of swimming again wasn't really an issue, wasn't going to happen to me. But, you know, Ken and I, over a couple of beers early last year, decided to do the half Ironman. And, you know, when you do a half Ironman, you can't escape doing a 2K swim.
You guys usually have a little bungee cord between you, right? I mean,
That's
but
right.
due to whatever reason today, you lost it. What happened? Tell us what happened.
Ken fell off Ken's knee. And then he got kicked off, and we tried to put it back on, but things weren't working too properly. And in the end, we decided it wasn't worthwhile, so we decided to swim side by side without the tether. However, I lost the tether.
Glenn, he's on the money, mate. We basically probably covered about 3.5 kilometres out there today as Dave went around in circles, and I'm trying to give him direction without a tether. Just too hard, eh?
Oh, wonderful inspiration. Well, if you are inspired, there are still 3 races left in the series. Next being La Grande Swim in the South Island, beautiful Akarawa. And then from there it is to Mount Maunganui. We finish with the King of the Bays in Auckland. Check out the website, oceanswim.co.nz, and don't forget to like us on Facebook.